Welcome to the Sporting Mentality Podcast. If you don't know who I am, my name is Tanner Schering, aka Relay TS. I'm actually known for posting theories about TV shows and games on TikTok under the name Relay TS. But I've been running this account called Sporting Mentality on TikTok and YouTube for longer than I've been known as Relay TS, but I've just never really done much with it besides just post TikToks and stuff. And I'm finally ready to start my podcast, ready to take it to the next step, because my interest in sports has taken a significant leap once again in my life. I took about 2 to 3 years off of just being a casual fan, but like back when I was in early high school, I was a diehard, NFL, NBA fan. I knew everyone, knew everything. But I'm getting back to that stage, so I'm ready to start this podcast. But if you're new here, I guess drop a follow, 5-star review wherever you're watching, listening. The video version's on YouTube. Audio version will be everywhere else. So today we're going to be going over the playoff week 1 recap. I'm going to talk about my thoughts on each game, and we're going to go from there. So first up, we have Seahawks 49ers. I watched a little bit of this game, but I knew what happened. I didn't watch all these games, by the way, but I did watch a majority of them. Seahawks 49ers, I was wrong about Brock Purdy. I'll admit that. At least I think I am. I think we've seen enough of Brock Purdy to know that, wow, this guy really is Mr. Irrelevant. This guy really is a 7th round pick who's actually good. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought it was a fluke. I thought it was because, this rookie quarterback got put into a system that he's already been in for like 6 months. And he has like the best offensive pieces around him, the best defense. But like, if you watched him play, he made some plays. You know what I'm saying? He proved himself that, maybe he is the future for the 49ers. Maybe he is the next Tom Brady. Like, literally. Like, if you've seen him play against the Seahawks, you know what I'm talking about. He was moving around that pocket, didn't throw any interceptions, like 350 yards. I mean, this guy can play. I was wrong about Brock Purdy so far. I hope this doesn't jinx it and he has a bad game next week, because I want him to beat the Cowboys. I believe that's who they play. And we're going to get to the Cowboys game. We're going to get to it. We are going to get to that. But about the Seahawks, I think the Seahawks, had a good season. I really do. I think they played above what everyone thought they were going to play, above everyone's expectations, and I think they have a good future with Geno for another like 3 years. I feel like Geno might be able to take them somewhere over the next 3 years if they put the right pieces around him. And I thought they did good, but they didn't have a chance against the 49ers, especially with their defense and Brock Purdy playing like the rookie of the year. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Seahawks 49ers. 49ers, maybe they'll make a run. Maybe they could, win the Super Bowl this year. We'll see. But Chargers, Jaguars. This is the game that I feel like majority of people are talking about, because I think it's the 3rd biggest comeback in NFL history, which is kind of insane. But my takeaways from this game is Herbert is a superstar. But in football, one person cannot win a game. We know that. Especially like if it's a quarterback. Like, one person cannot win a game no matter what. He was making throws. He was running around the pocket, doing whatever he could to put that team on his back. And I mean, the offensive coordinator did not know what they need to move on from the head coach. They didn't. They're going to keep the head coach, but they did move on from Joe Lombardi, their offensive coordinator, so that's good for Herbert. And they moved on from their, I believe, their quarterback coach. So some changes were made. Hopefully that helps Herbert. But man, oh man, oh man. I mean, I'm high on Trevor Lawrence, okay? He had a bad first half. And I told everyone in my Discord, that I knew. I was like, just wait. Trevor Lawrence is going to bounce back. They still have a chance. I didn't say they're going to come back, but I'm like, he's going to bounce back. And he just threw, I think he was at 2 interceptions when I said that. He threw another one and then another one. And I was like, okay, maybe I was wrong about Trevor Lawrence. And no, I was not. I'm not saying he carried them to winning the game, but he definitely, did his part in the second half. But that Jaguars team, being in my Colts division, I'm kind of scared. I'm not gonna lie. We have to face Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars for the foreseeable future. But the Chargers have a lot to figure out on the coaching side of things. I think they need another weapon on the offensive end. And, I mean, Joey Bosa, he lost in the game. So that sucks. But the Jaguars have a very bright future. So if you're a Jaguars fan, you should be happy. Dolphins and Bills. I'm very scared for the Bills in their future. I really am. I don't think the Bills are going to win the Super Bowl this year. I don't think they're capable of it. And I know, like America wants them to for all they've been through this year. But I seriously don't think Bills have what it takes to win the Super Bowl. And I know Bills fans out there are going to be mad at me saying this, but that doesn't mean they're a bad team. I don't think they're a bad team. But they're barely beating the third string Dolphins. And I know Mike McDaniels is a genius, and they haven't played well against the Dolphins all year. In fact, I'm pretty sure the Dolphins beat them earlier in the year with Tua, though. But they could barely beat the Dolphins, and it seems like Josh Allen at times is a little reckless with the ball. But, at other times, he's the best player in the league. So I'm not saying Josh Allen's the problem. I'm just saying, like, him being reckless with the ball does scare me a little bit moving forward. They need another weapon outside of Stephon Diggs. I mean, who are you going to rely on? Cole Beasley, John Brown, two 32-year-olds who just retired and came back for another run. They have Gabriel Davis, who, in my opinion, is maybe a third string, ideally probably a fourth string. He hasn't really done much this year. I know he had a few huge games, but he did not pan out like they wanted him to. So I'm worried for their offensive weapons, and I'm worried that Josh Allen's a little reckless, and they could barely beat a Dolphins third string quarterback. Like, seriously. So they need to clean some things up if they want to move forward, especially against the Bengals. That's going to be a scary matchup. With Burrow. I mean, that's going to be the game of the week, in my opinion. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the Bills. Dolphins, I feel sorry for you Dolphins fans. I mean, I don't think Tua is ever going to play football again. Maybe he does. I don't think he should. One more concussion, he could be, not the same Tua that we know today. So I don't think he should come back. And obviously, maybe they draft someone. Maybe they trade for someone. Maybe Aaron Rodgers goes there. That'd be cool. That would be something. I would love that. Aaron Rodgers with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Are you kidding me? But yeah, that's besides the point. Dolphins, you potentially have a bright future, or you have like the worst possible future ahead of you. Giants, Vikings. This is the game that I said. I predicted this right. I said the Giants were going to win because I don't know why. I don't know what it is. I don't know if there's any Vikings fans listening to this, but for some reason, I do not like the Vikings. I think it's because I grew up around some Vikings fans, and they were always toxic against the Colts. But also, I feel like Vikings are always like all talk, all stat sheet, no walk. They don't do anything in the playoffs. They're regular season stints here and there. But like, are you really gonna do much with Kirk Cousins in a below average defense? No. And I don't know. I don't think the Vikings have what it takes. Like, they need to upgrade their defense, and their offense is good, but it's like Kirk Cousins throwing a 4-yard out route, I think it was, or across the field to his tight end on a 4th and 8 kind of shows you that he's not made for those big moments. He never was. I don't think Kirk Cousins is capable of bringing a team to the Super Bowl. I don't know if you guys think he is. I don't think he is. I don't think he ever was. Maybe a second round of playoffs, third round if they're lucky. But they have the right pieces. I just think they need a new quarterback. If they like a really good quarterback, if they really want to make a push, or they need a new defense, obviously. But the Giants, however, oh my God, I'm excited for this team. I am rooting for the Giants. I hope the Giants make it all the way and win the damn Super Bowl. I love Daniel Jones. He is a freaking stud, dude. He is a stud. He went out there slinging the ball, confidence. I don't know. Daniel Jones is just so fun to watch. He can run the ball. He can throw the ball. He's gotten better each and every week. I'm so excited for this Giants team. I think they're going to be amazing next year if they get another wide receiver, which they will, obviously. But this playoffs, dude, I wouldn't be surprised if they make a run. Like, what if Daniel Jones just comes out here and wins the Super Bowl and just like Eli Manning did? I mean, this is going to be – I'm so excited for that team. I'm rooting for them. They're the underdogs. I knew they were going to win. The matchup, they just had the advantage in the matchup, in my opinion. and Saquon showed out as well. So that Giants team, I'm excited for them, and they have a bright future. Ravens Bengals. This is a game that I watched, and I mean, obviously the Ravens defense is like very good, but this Bengals team could not. It seems like the Bengals were literally handed this game. Like the Ravens just said, "All right, take this game. We're gonna go home." I mean, it feels like a few coaching calls here and there were some bad mistakes. I mean, two that stood out to me, obviously the QB sneak. It stood out to the world that was the wrong call when they had J.K. Dobbins, who was having a good game in the backfield. And also the run. The run, I don't know if you guys noticed, but like I think it was 22 seconds on the clock, and they ran the ball. They ran the ball and got like 5 yards and ran the clock down. I was like, what are you doing? Like, that doesn't even make sense. So like a few coaching calls here and there. But also on that QB sneak, that was a block of the back. Mark Andrews was running 20.72 miles per hour. That is the fastest he ever ran in his career, people. If that doesn't tell you how much Mark Andrews wanted to win that game, I don't know what will. But that's the fastest he ever ran in his career. He got blocked in the back. That should have been called. And that should have been, he should have been like, stopped right there. And the Ravens could have had a chance to hold him to a field goal or something. You know what I'm saying? That's stuff that the NFL referees, in my opinion, need to, crack down on. Just because there's a big play and it'll make the ESPN highlight reel, whatever, doesn't mean you can't call a block in the back. I don't care if you're a Bengals fan and you wanted them to score. No. That is not fair to Ravens fans. It's not fair to the people who are just watching the game from an outside perspective when their team's, not in the playoffs. That's a block in the back. That should be called. I'm scared for the Bengals team just like I'm scared for the Bills. But hey, two teams that are kind of reckless right now going against each other. I think the Bengals are a little bit more established and a little bit more prepared. But then again, I don't know. Maybe the Bills come out and they're a little bit more sharper on the edges and they beat the Bengals. But that's the game of the week in my opinion to watch. And the Ravens have a concerning future. I think they're going to be in a rebuild. Honestly, I think that Lamar Jackson is going to leave, preferably to the Colts. But that's just me being a Colts fan. Maybe he gets franchise tagged and wants to stay, but I doubt it. I don't think he wants to stay. Who knows? But yeah, the Ravens have a very concerning future, and they should have given Lamar whatever he asked for earlier in the year, because maybe Lamar would have wanted to play that game, and maybe they would have won. But anyways, Cowboys, Bucks. This is the game that a lot of people want me to talk about because I made a Dak Prescott video on my Sporting Mentality TikTok saying that Dak Prescott is overrated, the most overrated quarterback in the league. I know he played good. I know. But he also played a lot more conservatively against a mid-defense. I think he's still overrated. Maybe not the most overrated quarterback in the league. I want to see how he plays next week, to be honest with you, before I take back my take. I'm not taking it back. I still think he's overrated. He still threw 15 interceptions in 12 games or whatever it was and led the league and made horrible passes. And I don't think the Cowboys make a pass next week. I don't. I think Brock Purdy could outplay Dak Prescott. That is what I believe. Because that Buccaneers team is the worst team that was in this playoffs by a mile. Nothing about them was good. Nothing about them. All year they were a wreck. I don't even know how they made the playoffs because their division was so weak. So I still don't think Dak's good. I still think he needs to work on a lot of things if he wants to continue to be a quarterback that could potentially compete for a Super Bowl. I don't think he is that right now. If he plays like he did yesterday though, maybe, or 2 days ago, no, it was yesterday. Maybe he will. Maybe he is good enough to win a Super Bowl. But I don't think he can play like that every single week, considering what we've seen all season long. So I think the Cowboys are going to lose next week. That's partly because I hate the Cowboys, and partly because I like the 49ers. And Brock Purdy proved me wrong. So, but the Bucks, this is the interesting part. I don't really care about the Bucks. The Bucks, you're going to be a team that's going to be tanking for the next whatever years, unless you trade for Derek Carr, in my opinion. But you have a lot of weapons, so you should trade for Derek Carr. Maybe you could make a run at the playoffs. Or maybe Tom comes back. If they get a new OC in there, offensive coordinator, I think Tom could potentially consider a comeback to the Bucks. I don't think so. I think Tom is going to leave. I don't know where Tom is going to leave. I know he's not going to retire. There's no way he's going to retire. He doesn't have to focus on a divorce this offseason like he did all last offseason and through into the regular season, which did not help his chemistry with this team at all. Probably not with his coaches, nothing. He didn't get a focus on his game as much. He was clearly a little worse this year than he was in previous years. But I think Tom has something left in the tank. And if you didn't see that, I don't know what you're seeing, what you're watching. 66 pass attempts at the age of 45. Are you kidding me? He definitely has stuff left in the tank, and I think he's going to take his talents to a Raiders team or something along those lines. Maybe even the Saints. I mean, why not? Bring Sean Payton back. Tom Brady, Sean Payton going for the Super Bowl. I could see that happening. But I don't think Tom Brady's going to retire. I think he still has some left in the tank. But I'm really excited for this next week playoffs. I'm going to have another podcast coming out either tomorrow or the next day talking about my predictions for the playoffs in each matchup. But yeah, these are my thoughts on playoff week one recap. And also, Aaron Rodgers today on the Pat McAfee show said that, he doesn't know if he's going to return, blah, 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 blah. But he did say this. He said, I still think I can play at the highest of levels that you could possibly play at. And he said, I still think I could win an MVP as well in the right situation. I think that's a sign Aaron Rodgers is going to be back. I don't know where. Hopefully the Colts. No, I'm kidding. I don't know where he's going to be. Maybe he's going to be in Green Bay. Maybe he's going to go to a team like Miami. But I hope Aaron Rodgers comes back because having him and Tom back in the league one more year would be a gift to us all as NFL fans. But if you guys enjoyed this first episode of Sporting Mentality on the podcast, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're on YouTube, hit those notification bells if you're on any other platform, leave a 5-star review, follow, and whatever you have to do. Would really appreciate it. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this first podcast. I want to keep doing this. And let me know if you think I did good. Let me know if you think I should talk about things differently or, do this differently. Give me some suggestions. This is my first podcast alone. I do have another podcast called Popcorn Talks with Crenbeast, with my roommate, and we talk about TV shows and stuff like that. But this is my first podcast where I'm doing it, solo, sort of like, I'm gonna admit it. I was inspired by Colin Cowherd. So if you guys, a lot of you probably hate him, a lot of you probably love him. I don't know, but I listen to Colin Cowherd all the time. So that's where I got this idea from, and I really enjoy watching the show, so that's why I wanted to make this. But yeah, guys, let me know suggestions. Let me know if you enjoyed it, and I appreciate you guys watching. Be sure to have a great rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.